24. We gon' take it up from last year. Shoot on my shot, boy, I'm long range. Me and the team on the same thing. Stay down, never switched up. Only thing changed was the game. I'm in the zone now. Nothing can change what we on now. When I pull up, know it's going down. Foot on the gas, ain't no slowing down. Aiming for greatness, no settling. Kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Taking no L's, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. Who running the game now? Foot on the gas, can slow down. No, my team, we holding it down. We know we running it now. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change, yeah. Tell them that's like, yeah, c'est la vie. I'm taking a shot for my enemies. I can't waste no more time on my energy. I know they know I got it on lock. Go against me, that's a long shot. Cause I'm counting wins all around the clock. Never doubt me, boy, I don't stop. Who do you feel when they make you the monster? I am not scared of none of you imposters. Taking the lead now while they watching. Think you should leave now while the option. Taking no L's, yeah, I gotta win. Watch me kick down the doors, they won't let me in. I'm running the game now. Foot on the gas, can slow down, no.
What are you gonna do? Welcome to another edition of the It's Cavalier podcast. It's your boy Mac, and tonight our Cleveland Cavaliers took on the Miami Heat on the road and on the second night of a back-to-back. A tall task, no doubt, but with 4 days of rest following game number 24, this was as good a chance as any to secure a W against a damn respectable opponent in the Miami Heat. The Heat entered tonight as winners of their last 2 games and currently seated the 6th team in the Eastern Conference in a very unpredictable Eastern Conference at that. We all know the deal with Miami. As long as Eric Spoelstra is patrolling those sidelines, they will forever and always remain a threat, an opponent who will not hesitate to step on your throat anytime is possible. And that's exactly what happened tonight. Honestly, this is a franchise that Cleveland has struggled with very much so over the past few seasons. They entered tonight's game against Miami 4-6 in their last 10, dating all the way back to the 2021-22 season. And they've just now lost 3 straight to this team. We remember the games from last year. Very frustrating, especially the last one in which Miami absolutely dismantled Cleveland to the tune of 121-84. That was last year. This is a new regime, and a very different regime at that, which had begun the season off to a very, very hot start. And if I'm not mistaken, there have only been 2 teams prior to tonight through 24 games that have better records than Cleveland. The 2015-2016 Warriors, who we all knew began the season winning 24 straight, and the other is the 95-96 Bulls, who went 22-2 through the first 24, if I'm not mistaken. I already knew it was going to be a tough challenge. No Isaac Okoro, which is big in a matchup like this. It would be so very difficult against a Miami Heat team that still features some very, very potent wings out there like Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Herro, among others. And in his place, Dean Wade making his 2nd straight start and 9th start of the season overall. You really needed him to begin to knock his looks down because he's been absolutely terrible prior to tonight as of late. He entered this game shooting just 27% and 28.1% from three-point range over his last 8 performances. I thought there were certain points tonight in which he actually performed quite respectably offensively. He did knock down more triples than I expected him to, 3 of 7, which is good for 42.9% on the night in his 29 minutes. But it was simply not enough to stop this Miami Heat team that is just completely chock full of wings that can score on you at the drop of a hat. I already mentioned a few of them: Herro, Robinson, Jimmy Butler. Those guys combined for a huge amount of points. Herro with 34. You got Robinson, who had 23, and Butler with 18. And let's not forget some of the others here, like Drew Smith, who finished with 11. triple after triple after triple, as Miami would shoot 43.2% from the 3-point line, going 16 to 37 in the process. But honestly, that wasn't even the big difference maker in this game to me. There were a few things that made a huge difference in this game tonight. The rebounding, that was number one, especially on the offensive glass, where they beat Cleveland 10-4. You heard that right. 10 offensive rebounds Miami had tonight to Cleveland's 4. There's a huge reason for that, in my opinion. It's part positioning, part the loss of Evan Mobley, who played the first half, rolled his ankle by stepping on Kevin Love, former Cavalier, would not return in the second half. Tried to give it a go apparently, but was not able to go back out there. And that really, really hurt. So Ennis Place, Dean Wade, and George Niang, if I'm not mistaken, started the second half. Just not necessarily a good thing against a team that you knew you were going to need some big time defenders in against the Heat. So losing Mobley halfway through, that definitely hurt the Cavs' chances, though they managed to make it a game late, pulling to as close as 5, if I'm not mistaken. But man, oh man. The Cavaliers just could not get out of their own way at times. The ref ball was a component of it. Lackluster shot making at times. Donovan Mitchell turning it on way too late. Just a lot of things that ended up killing the Cavs tonight. Cavs, one good point of news, I guess, is the streak scoring 100 or more points was not broken. 113 total points tonight for Cleveland. So that marks now the 25th straight game in which they have been able to go over the 100-point mark. And I really want to make this, I really want to say, you can't win them all. And this is, I want to make every excuse in the book. Second night of a back-to-back, legs tired, loss of Evan Mobley midway through. I really want to say all that, but I can't, right? I don't want to make excuses here. Don't want to make excuses at all. I felt like I entered this game feeling like with the amount of rest days coming up, 4 straight, right? Cavaliers do not play again until Friday. They don't play again until Friday. They had a lot of rest days coming up, so I felt like this was as good a chance as any to lock up another W before that, and that simply did not happen. To me, the biggest culprits, again, the offensive rebounding and the free throws, right? I gotta admit, there are some calls in this game, which it's felt like it's becoming a trend lately for this team where it just does not feel like they're getting a fair blow of the whistle. The Cavaliers as a team would attempt 18 free throws tonight. They were highly efficient on that. The only miss tonight was a Darius Garland free throw. And I don't even fault him for that because he's shooting like 95% from the charity stripe. But 17 of 18 they were from the free throw line tonight to Miami's 24 of 26. These motherfuckers had 19 free throws in the first half alone, with Robinson, Butler, and Harrow combining, if I am not mistaken, for 15 of those. Every single time that they drove inside, every single time that you breathed on them, foul. Blow the whistle all the time. Now, I'll give it to the refs. They did start to give DG some calls in the second half as he drove inside, try and bring the Cavaliers a little bit closer, but it still felt like the whistle heavily leaned Miami's way. And I hate to say this, right? I hate to use ref ball as an excuse, but it's more often than not for this team, it just feels like we don't get a fair call. It sucks to see this shit, man. It sucks to see this happen all the time. It really, really does. I seriously hate the fact that this team is not getting fair calls. I don't get it. I really do not get it. The one thing that I'll say is that more often than not, the Cavaliers have been able to overcome it. Tonight was not one of those nights. They were not able to overcome the free throw disparity. They were not able to overcome the lack of offensive rebounds. Cavaliers as a team got out rebounded. I know the loss of Evan Mobley definitely affects that, but I mean, we got to stop making excuses, right? Out rebounded 55 to 38. Unreal. I know Evan Mobley not being out there definitely hurts, but you're telling me that you're going to be out rebounded by what is that, 17 rebound margin? It, Evan Mobley ain't fixing all that. Got to have some better positioning out there. You got to work on the offensive glass. There's no reason to me why the Cavaliers should be out rebounded like that in any game. I don't care who is out there. Just should not happen. Would not happen. Should not happen. I don't even know what else to say in regards to that. Dr. Claw 77 says Cavs are playing 5-on-8 tonight. It certainly felt like it at times, man. I seriously hate how often it feels like the refs make a difference in this game. I really do. Claw also says, and the next time the Cavs face them is the first night of a back-to-back with the Hawks next month. For both games, Max better be back, Okoro and Wade better be present, and Evan better be back. I hope so. I really do. I still feel like people seriously discount how much Isaac Okoro means to his team, especially in a matchup like tonight where you're going up against some premier wings. You guys saw how Tyler Herro just absolutely destroyed Cleveland tonight in a multitude of ways on his way to 34 points, 10 of 19 from the field, 5 of 9 from three-point distance. That just does not happen when you have an Isaac Okoro out there. You don't see all Duncan Robinson, Herro, and Butler go off like they did tonight. You just don't see it happen because Isaac is generally staying plastered to them. Hopefully he's back. Can't make too much, I'm not going to use this game to go out here and pound the table and lambaste this team because it is one game. But it was disheartening to see how they were outworked on the glass on both ends, defensive and offensive, especially offensive. But yeah, the Cavs absolutely got dismantled, and now they dropped to 4-7 over their last 11 matchups against this Miami team. They just have not been able to play very well against them over the past couple of seasons, and that is with even with Donovan Mitchell in town. And the Donovan Mitchell era, it's probably been even worse. Not a lot of W's happened whenever this team faces Miami. And this is why we always say, like, no matter what seed this team is, you always have to be weary of a matchup with the Heat. They will always, always, always present a tough challenge, especially in a 7-game series. We've seen them do it. Hell, they managed to go from the 8th seeded team to the finals not long ago, right? If I'm not mistaken. It happens. They play very good basketball. They get the best out of their reserves. They coach up their role players, and they have a great system there. They just do what they need to do, and apparently they have a favorable whistle. A lot of push-offs tonight. It felt like we were watching the Cavaliers play the Boston Celtics. Claw says, what will it take for the Cavs to get off zone defense and actually box out for rebounds? Kenny Atkinson has to make the switch. We are going to zone way, way too often. Seriously, rebounding has fallen by the wayside for this team. And it's not necessarily been a strength over the past couple of seasons. It's been something that's been worrisome, but it's been worse this season. It's not been as big a problem as let's say the 3-point or perimeter defense rather, but the rebounding has really actually been a point of contention for me this year. They were 19th in the NBA in rebounds per game at just 43.1. And when you're talking about offensive rebounds, it's even worse. They're 26th in the league, pulling down just 9 offensive rebounds per game. It's ugly. The Cavaliers, and this is where you'll constantly hear me talk about the Cavaliers' need for a backup for 5. When Tristan Thompson enters the game, you have no real confidence that he is going to be able to do anything that is going to warrant consistent rotational minutes at this point in his career. George Niang and Dean Wade are fine shooters from 3-point distance, but they are not high-level rebounders. So you really need an option out there that can legitimately box out and rebound and get some damn rebounds, right? You don't really have that from a player that is tried and tested. All you really have at this point are young guys in JT Thor and Jalen Tyson, who is shown to be a pretty damn good rebounder at his size. But there are no proven options on the roster. So to me, you have to address this position around the deadline or on the buyout market, or just flat out give JT Thor a chance. That's where I'm at with that, because if Evan Mobley or Jared Allen has to miss time, you don't feel confident necessarily that they're going to be able to compete on the glass with Wade or Niang or Thompson. You got to get it. You really have to figure out a way to address that, whether that is giving JT Thor a real opportunity to make the rotation as the third or fourth big, or addressing it on the buyout market or at the trade deadline. It's possible. I think Kobe is probably going to be looking, but you got to figure out what direction you want to go in, whether you're trying to address it internally or externally. But I hope that Kobe sees that this is still a major issue for this team. Time to get off the soapbox. Again, the Cavaliers have 4 days of rest coming up. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully Evan Mobley, who suffered that ankle sprain, and Jesus, man, ankle sprains have just been the bane of this team's existence this year. Way too many of them happening. We saw it happen last year with Ty Jerome. You never really know the severity of these things. As I'm, recording this stream, I've not been given an update. I haven't checked my phone, so I'm not sure what news has come out about Evan Mobley, but I would hope that he won't miss any real time with the Cavaliers' rest being heavily a lot of rest days coming up, 4 straight. They don't play again until Friday. So hopefully we're good. Elliot Clausen said, is Ty crashing down to earth? I don't necessarily think so. I thought Ty had a pretty damn good second quarter tonight. He's not perfect, right? 4 of 11 from the field, 14 total points on the night in his 21 minutes of action, but he legitimately was making floater after floater and contested layup after contested layup in that second quarter, where he basically played the entire second quarter. I think he is going to have his games, especially coming off that illness where he may not look right, but I thought he performed pretty well tonight, all things considered, at least in the first half. That's where I'm at on that. I don't think he's necessarily crashing down. I just think that you have to take things with a grain of salt sometimes from game to game. We've been treated to some damn fine basketball from an individual standpoint from a number of players on this roster, Ty being one of them, but there have been games this year where he's been minimized. So we'll just have to track that going forward. But I thought tonight he was decent, not perfect, but decent. Sam Merrill, 3 of 6 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3-point distance. I continue to see people say and suggest that Sam Merrill needs to be moved, or he just doesn't add any value, or he needs to be taken out of the rotation. And I'm not a believer in that. I think that the sheer impact of his gravity alone opens the floor for drivers. And it was nice to see him knock down a pair of triples tonight. And I'm hoping that he can use that as a springboard, at least from an offensive standpoint, to get himself going again. The defense, I thought Sam has been playing the best individual defense of his career. It's not the greatest team defense all the time, and he can be exploited from bigger wings out there. As we all know, Sam is just 6'4", so he can be targeted at times. But I think that he has held up on the season as a whole pretty well. But there will certainly be matchups in which Sam is just probably not the best for him. But in his 20 minutes of action tonight, he would go 3 of 6 and 2 of 5 from 3-point range on his way to 10 points. George Niang, I thought he had actually a damn good game for what it's worth. 5 of 7 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3-point distance. The shots starting to fall again for him. 15 points off the bench for Niang, 6 rebounds, was a plus 11 on the night. One of the Cavaliers who actually, tried to put his body out on the line, especially when trying to rebound the ball. And Karis LeVert, he'll make a boneheaded play every game at times, but I thought he was not terrible either. 5 of 7 from the field, 2 of 2 from 3-point range on his way to 13 points. So again, there are definitely some performances that you can look to and say, hey, these guys are starting to get it rolling again. But as a team, the Cavaliers just could not put it all together. Not the most efficient night from Donovan Mitchell. This is one of those games and performances that'll be starting to become a little bit more. I don't want to say that they're becoming the norm for him, but we have seen him have some pretty shitty performances lately, especially from an efficiency standpoint. Just 12 points for Donovan tonight, 5 assists, was just 5 of 16 from the field, including 1 of 5 from three-point range. He will have his games where he looks like an absolute superstar, and there will also be games where Donovan is just, he doesn't have it going. I will never question his ability or talent out there, but sometimes it's clear that the shot is just not falling for him, and he's trying to get it going. Tonight was not his night. I thought that there was a point in the fourth quarter where he decided, hey, Mobley's not out there. Darius is not on the court with me in this lineup, so I'm going to take it upon myself to get a basket. And he did do that, right? He's there at one point. He scored 7 straight points for the Cavaliers, a triple and 2 drives into the basket. It was beautiful to watch play out, but on the night as a whole, that was just not the case. Just the fourth quarter. Jared Allen. Now that's a player who is, you're starting to see a lot more people share the opinion that Jared Allen is just trash, or that he doesn't offer anything, or that he's not salvageable. I'm going to stay on this side. I'm not over there. I thought Jared Allen, there have certainly been a number of performances from him lately where I'm left scratching my head and wanting more out of him, as he would finish with just 6 points and 7 rebounds on 3 of 7 from the field. But I'm not so down in the dumps in regards to Jared Allen that I'm willing to say, fuck it, it's time to move off of him. I just can't get behind that mindset. People are just so reactionary in terms of how they flip-flop on their opinions from game to game for certain players. It's an 82 game season, guys. Jared Allen is still averaging a pretty damn efficient double-double on the season, despite a considerable drop off in terms of both touches and field goal attempts. He is still averaging, prior to tonight, 13.7 points, 10.5 rebounds, and shooting 69.3% from the field. The problem with Jared Allen, I think that we have sometimes, is that he is just not aggressive enough, and he just looks like he doesn't want to play at times. Frankly, he looks like he doesn't want to be out there at specific points. I honestly thought that Jared Allen was pouting at times tonight. No, maybe it was just me, but I'm not going to use it as a device to say that Jared Allen is shitty or sucks or anything like that, because I think people are incredibly too hard on Jared Allen at times. Donovan Mitchell was just as shitty as Donovan Mitchell was tonight, except he's just not taking the shots that Mitchell is. So I just can't get behind the idea that people keep suggesting that we move off of Jared Allen, or that it doesn't work, because we've seen it now countless times where Mobley and Allen can coexist. We've seen that Darius and Donovan coexist, and we've also seen all of these guys collectively have shitty games. So I just think people need to chill out on that. It's a couple of bad games. It's a bad stretch for him, but people just have to calm down and stop being so damn reactionary. Elliot Clausen says, double-doubles ain't shit anymore. If you're 7 foot tall, you better get a double-double. Elliot, why don't you do me a favor, buddy, and check how many bigs right now. Check how many players in the NBA are averaging double-doubles. I can guarantee you it's probably not as much as you might believe. It might sound, and I believe I heard Brad Doherty say it the other day, that if you're a big man in the NBA, you should be immediately averaging a double-double. I think in theory, with the amount of shot attempts, the pace of play, the style of play now, it makes sense, but it's not necessarily the case. We all know that. So yes, while we can sit here and say that double-doubles don't mean anything, they kind of do. It's not important in the grand scheme of things, but Jared Allen's value to this team is clear. It truly is. So I think we have to lay off of Jared Allen. John Turner says, if Allen doesn't start the game well, he gets inside his own head and visibly gives up. I think that can happen at times. I think we have seen that from a number of Cavaliers, right? We've seen it throughout the years with Isaac, with Dean. We've seen it from Darius at times. It happens. It's sports. It happens. You really can. You seriously can. Jetpack Redmond says the fun positivity Allen brings has also been good. Yeah, he's very lighthearted. He'll keep things light out there, and in ways that some of these other Cavaliers who are serious, like Max Strus, right, all business, don't. I think that's important for the vibes and mindset of your team at times, but I also believe it's important for you to lock in. And I think Jared Allen sometimes, as some of you have mentioned, he just got to be able to get out of his own head and out of his own way. And if he can do that, I think he'll be fine. Again, he is averaging a highly efficient double-double on the season. I think he'll start to round things back into form, and we got to go easy on him because there was a number of Cavaliers out there that did not have the most effective performances. We'll see. Time will tell. The Cavaliers, again, have 4 days off. I'm hoping that they use that to address some of these issues that we're seeing with this team, right? The rebounding is right up there. The perimeter defense continues to be a problem. And again, I'm not even going to make excuses for that. I'm not even going to use the excuse of Isaac Okoro not being out there because Isaac alone is not going to be able to stop Tyler from going 5 and 9 from three-point distance, or Duncan Robinson from going 4 or 6, or Drew Smith from going 3 or 6. He's not changing all of that. He would certainly help, but the Cavaliers as a team have to be able to close out a little bit better. John Turner says 13 players are averaging 10 rebounds. There you go, Elliot. It's not as easy as it seems. It's all in our heads, right? So give Jared Allen his respect. Thank you for that, John. That said, as I always tell you guys, if you like to reach out to me, now you can. It's Cavalier_pod on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and more. If you want to be added to the It's Cavalier Discord chat, you know what to do. Leave a rating, leave a review, send a screenshot of said review to itscavalier53@gmail.com, and I will send you an invite. If you're watching over on X, do your boy a favor. Head over to YouTube right now. Hit that like button. If you are not yet a subscriber to the It's Cavalier podcast, subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on a post-game live stream or any Cavaliers-related content that I put out there. Go Cavs.